Yeah, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Bruce, my brother Z, what's up, dog? How you doing, bro? Yeah.
Sorry I'm late. I was asleep. I almost legit did not make the watch along. I was asleep.
I would have beat your ass too, because this was your idea.
I know. I'm sorry. I
You
was.
good? Nah. I'm just fucking with you. Good. I just got home myself. I was just hooping.
Huh?
I said I just got home myself. I was just hooping.
Oh, okay. So you was out there hooping.
I mean, it wasn't really that good, but it's been about it's been about 6 months since I hooped for real. But
All
nah,
right.
let's get into it. Let's get into
Let
it.
me pull up the show, folks. We are watching the last, folks, in honor of the last WCW Nitro. That was November 20, and that was March 26, 2001. You're going to watch the last ever episode of WCW Nitro. I believe this is the first WCW style watch along we have done on this channel. Now, I want to do a lot more because there's a
Hell
lot.
yeah.
And I know there's a lot more because I know I come on here and I clown WCW a lot for some of the shit that they did. But I may clown them a lot, but there's legitimately a lot of good stuff. But there's legitimately a lot of good stuff, a lot of good pay-per-views, a lot of good wrestling that happened from this that happened from this company. There really is. I want to get. There really is. There really is. I would love to obviously go into the NWO and history of the Monday Night War, but I would also love to go into the 80s and 90s because my period. That is when WCW truly shined. I understand that they got a lot of love because of the NWO angle and Hogan and Goldberg and DDP this on the third, but I truly do believe WCW did their best work in the early to mid 90s. That I truly do believe that, and I would love to go in and deep dive into that with y'all if y'all are interested. But right now, folks, we are watching the last episode of WCW Nitro. You can find this on Peacock. Just type in WCW.
Yep. Let's give everybody like a minute or two so they can
Yep.
get in here, get situated. Let's welcome everybody in here. Who we got in here? We got Bruce, Z, James, Lee, Ahmed, Bears, my boy Stu, Matt Thunder. Bro, how's everybody doing on a Saturday, bro? Pulling up. Appreciate all the love on 10K, bro. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much. K-Rod, my boy, what's good, bro?
I know Lewis did a great impression of me on Thursday. Man, I know he did. I know he did. That was a great impression.
Bro, he got everything down to your stutter.
I wish Mo would clip that and post that on the main channel. That was comedy gold. I was very entertained by it. I was very entertained by it. Thankfully, I was very entertained by it. Folks, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I literally just woke up, so that's one. And two, second thing is, I've had to deal with a lot of idiots today. A lot of idiots I've had to deal with today. So
A
I,
lot, huh?
I
What did
don't,
I miss?
huh?
What did I miss?
You know what you is. I don't like dealing with idiots in general. People who talk. I don't like people. I know my takes are bad, but I genuinely don't like talking.
You talking about the Miz and Andrade thing?
No, not that. Just no,
Oh,
in general. I
okay.
genuinely don't like dealing with people. If you think Logan Paul is a better
Oh, yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, okay.
I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I'm not even trying to glaze him. I'm not. I'm legitimately not even trying to glaze Will Ospreay at all. I'm not. But if you honestly believe that Logan Paul is a better performer than Will Ospreay, I don't know.
No. I mean, that's just disrespectful to Will Ospreay. I mean, come on.
We're just hating at that point.
That's just disrespectful to Will Ospreay. He's been doing this for what? Got to be now what? 14, 15 years now, close to it.
You're just a fuck. So I've had to deal with a lot of idiots today, folks. A lot of fucking idiots today I've had to deal with. So yeah.
Chat, if you want to join us in the show, we are at March 26, 2001, the very last episode of WCW Nitro. I'm at the far beginning. I'm not at any specific timestamp.
Yeah,
Uh,
looking at two folks. I'm literally at 4 seconds. So
I'll give everybody till 5:10,
yeah.
5:10 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. But yeah, please come on. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Pull this up on Peacock. Pull this up on Peacock, please. Again, I know I get on here and I clown WCW a lot, but they really do have some. But they really do have some great moments, some great segments, some great things that they brought to wrestling that I would really love to go and dive into. So this is the first of what I'm hoping is many more WCW watch-alongs. Yeah, I really do. Same way we give to WWE, I really want to give to WCW. Again, I know I clown them a lot, but I really do think they have some. I really do think they have some very memorable moments. So,
Hey, bro, this is rated M wrestling, bro. If it's wrestling, bro, I'm down for it. You and I sat here for 4 hours watching Ring of Honor in December.
that was a mistake. Oh my god, that was never again. We are never doing that again. It was a very good show, which is
Oh no, hell yeah, it was good. It was really good.
I underestimated how long the fucking pay-per-view was. Never again. Never again.
I recommend Spring Stampede 1997.
Yeah, Spring Stampede 97 is a very good show. Other show, Spring Stampede 97 is a very good show. There are two more shows on here that I would really love to dive into. That being Bash at the Beach 1998. The main event of that show, as weird as it sounds, it truly is a whole lot of fun. It's DDP and Karl Malone against Hogan and Rodman. I know that main event. I know you hear that main event and you're like, what the fuck? But I'm telling you, that's a match you just gotta watch because that match is a lot more. That match is a lot of fun, and it sounds a lot better. And it sounds a lot. And the match was a lot better than it had any right to be. So that's the show I really want to go back and watch. And another show I really want to go back and watch might be my favorite WCW pay-per-view of all time. The Spring Stampede 1994. That was the Spring Stampede. Is either Spring Stampede 94 or Bash at the Beach 94. Excuse me. No. The Spring Stampede 94. Bash at the Beach 94. That was the debut of Hulk Hogan on the WCW show. That's where we got Hogan and Flair for the first time. The Spring Stampede 94. That show itself is incredible. You get a street fight that is just wild as hell with Cactus Jack and Max Payne against the Nasty Boys. With Cactus Jack and Max Payne against the Nasty DDP and Johnny B. Bad. DDP and Johnny B. Bad. They have a great fucking match. On there, like they always did. And then the main event is Flair and Steamboat in the main event, and you can never go wrong with a Flair Steamboat main event. So,
hell yeah.
So there are a lot of shows on here that I really would love to get into and watch. It's 5:10, folks. I hope everybody's here. Is everybody there?
Everybody here? I'm ready if you are, Ken. Let's do this, bro. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do it. Hit play.
Let's watch WCW, folks.
Oh, bro, Cam, I forgot to fucking tell you, bro. I watched the video. I learned something yesterday for the first fucking time before SmackDown. I watched a video about how Tommy Dreamer got so pissed at Paul Heyman back in 2001 that he was sitting outside of Mania 17, outside the Astrodome, loaded.
Oh yeah, how he wanted to kill Paul Heyman?
Yeah, bro.
Paul Heyman on there?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's
what the fuck? Thank God for Jim Ross.
Yeah, thank God for Jim Ross.
Could you imagine watching WCW back then and seeing Vince on your TV?
In its final broadcast tonight on TNT, I have the opportunity to address you, WCW fans. I have an opportunity to address you, the WCW superstars. What is the fate of WCW? Tonight, special simulcast, all find out of the fate, the very fate of WCW is in my...
Look at that smile, bro. If you think this is the first time, look up Black Saturday. Black Saturday. All right, give me a second. I'll look it up right now. Oh, I got you. I got you. Wow, look how young Tony Schiavone look, bro. Scott Hudson.
I don't like Scott Hudson as a commentator, but here we are. All right, so I heard something on here about Black Saturday while we were gone. It's true. Now, I heard something about Black Saturday while I was gone, right?
Yeah, because I had mentioned Vince showing up on WCW, and Kara was like, if you thought that was bad, look up Black Saturday. I was like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard of that.
All right, let me tell you what Black Saturday is. For a brief period in the 80s, Vince McMahon owned the television. For a brief period in the 80s, Vince McMahon owned the Georgia Championship Wrestling, which would eventually become WCW. Have you ever, you know who Gerald Briscoe is, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered why Gerald Briscoe has had a cozy position in that company for as long as he had it? For as long as Gerald Briscoe had it? It's because Gerald Briscoe sold his stake, sold his share. Oh my God, we are opening with Flair! But it's because Gerald Briscoe sold his stake of Georgia Championship Wrestling, which I think sold his stake of Georgia Championship Wrestling, basically the television slot. He sold it to Vince McMahon. And so Vince McMahon, he sold it to Vince McMahon. And so they hop on Georgia Champion. So, the fans hop on Georgia Championship Wrestling one day. And it's Vince McMahon it's Vince McMahon that's greeted them in the Georgia Championship Wrestling studio. It's Vince McMahon that greeted them instead of the usual people. And Vince McMahon basically was like, I own this time slot now, blah, blah, blah. And he showed WWF matches, obviously. Well, a lot of fans complained about that because they don't want to watch WWF. They wanted to watch their Southern Championship Wrestling, whatever. Well, Vince McMahon basically owned the time slot. Well, Ted Turner was like, "Hey, I'll buy that." Ted Turner was like, "Hey, I'll buy that. I'll buy that one back from you. I'll buy the TV slot back for you from me for $1 million." Vince McMahon sells it back to Tony Khan not Tony Khan, sells it back to Ted Turner for $1 million, and he tells Ted Turner, "I'm gonna make you choke on that $1 million."
Damn. All right.
Yeah, that's basically Black Saturday.
Chat, it pays to have people that know what they're talking about. That 1 million was used to fund the first WrestleMania.
Yep.
That's awesome. Michael Davis, what's good, bro? I've been in pain all day. I hear you, bro. I just came back from hooping not too long ago. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm gonna be feeling it later too. What happened with you, bro? Are you good? Oh man, I'm sorry, Michael Davis. I can never do that, bro. And not that I would have a choice in the matter, but it's not funny. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're in pain.
Sorry to hear about your kidney stone, Michael Davis. Really am. Sorry to hear about that, man.
Matt Thunder, I don't know. It might be 2 because on my feed it's only an hour and a half. So obviously with commercials that would add up to be 2. I would believe.
It says on here, Matt Thunder, this show's an hour and 28 minutes. So it's probably 2 hours. Oh, for those of you that don't know, Ric Flair was close to coming into WWE in 1988. He was close. He was off with it. He was going to come and he was going to challenge Savage for the title at SummerSlam that year. He was close to coming in, but he got cold feet.
Oh man. So at this point, who was it? Still Vince Russo with the pen?
Yep. I believe so. I know he got fired for a short period of time, but they brought him back. So,
Okay, Rob said he was gone by this time. It was Johnny Ace booking it.
oh, okay.
Thank you, bro.
I remember after they brought WCW, whatever, they brought Vince Russo in and he lasted a day because he had to work on a committee, and Vince Russo doesn't like working on committees. So they brought him in for a day. So they brought Vince Russo in for a day. And that shit didn't work. And Vince McMahon was like, you know what? We just gonna make you a consultant. You just stay at home and tell us what you think about these storylines. I never called him again.
Is this true, bro? This is kind of crazy. WCW had a 3-hour Nitro with 0 wrestling in the first hour.
I can believe that.
At all. That's kind of crazy, bro. Like, I don't know.
Oh God, I remember. Oh, God. How many bookers WCW go through?
That's actually a question I'd like to have an answer to, because all I know is Russo and I guess Johnny Ace, but
Somebody new booking WCW each week. It was
for
Bischoff
real?
at one point. Then it was Kevin
Yeah, right. Bischoff, of course.
Bischoff at one point. Then it was Kevin Sullivan.
I don't know too much about Kevin Sullivan.
I know Bill Watts at the pin at some point. Then I know Bill Watts at the pin at some point. Kevin Sullivan, Kevin Nash at the pin at some point. Oh God, yeah.
WWE uploaded the Pete Numbers Walter match at TakeOver New York. I know what I'm doing after the stream.
Sorry for me to explain Kevin Sullivan, but Kevin Sullivan, if you want to know about him, he basically booked his own divorce.
He basically what?
He basically booked his own divorce.
Oh, damn! Why the fuck? Why? Why the fuck would he do that?
Huh?
Why the hell would he do that?
I don't know. He put Kevin Sullivan. He booked Benoit. He put Benoit. He put Benoit with Nancy, and that was obviously a mistake on his end.
Yeah.
Big Papa Pump. Big Papa Pump. Big Papa Pump. Big Papa Pump. One of the few things WCW got right in their dying years was the push of Scott Steiner.
What year would you say was like the beginning of the end for him?
1999.
99?
99 was the beginning of the end. 99 was the beginning of the end. 2000 was the worst year they ever had, and then 2001 obviously. Once WCW, because you don't know the story behind how the deal happened anyway. At this point in time, all the top names in WCW were being written off air. Goldberg was being written off air. Sting was being written off air. I think Booker T was being written off air. But like all the top names in WCW, they're being written off air. Because the whole plan, Bischoff had a plan with WCW. The plan was all the top guys would be written on television. Eric Bischoff would get a team of investors. They would buy WCW. They will buy WCW from Ted Turner, because I think Ted Turner still owned them at this point. From either Ted Turner or whoever the fuck owned WCW at this time. Bischoff would get a team of investors. They will buy WCW, and they will restart, and they would just completely restart WCW with all the big names and everything. But once Jamie Counter took power, Jamie Counter, I guess he wasn't a wrestling fan, and Jamie Counter was like, I don't want wrestling on my network anymore, so he canceled WCW. When he canceled Nitro, Bischoff and all the, when he canceled Nitro, the group of investors Bischoff had got cold feet. They're like, we don't want to buy WCW if it doesn't have television. It's basically a dead brand without television.
Right.
So if this promotion doesn't have television, we don't want it. And that was what. So they backed out, and Bischoff couldn't get WCW. That was what led to Vince McMahon going. Hey, that's what led to Vince McMahon going. Fuck it, I'll buy it. How much y'all want? Because I think they got WCW for like $4 million, either $4 million or $4 billion. It was like, damn. It's like they got everything. They got WCW. They got WCW, and I think they got like the all the naming rights and like the tape library. I think for like $4 million. So Vince McMahon swooped in. He was like, "I'll take it."
So Vince bought WCW, ECW, right?
Yeah, you brought ECW too.
The only other one I know years later was Evolve, because I'm pretty sure Evolve was its own thing, right?
You brought Vince McMahon, I think WWE, the wrestling promotions that they own. I want to say the AWA, but I don't think he ever bought the AWA.
AWA.
I think with the AWA, it was a case of, but I don't think he bought the AWA. I think the AWA was a case of, they obviously went out of business because they obviously went out of business. What killed the AWA was them losing. What killed the AWA was Vince McMahon taking all the big stars, like taking all their stars. Like Vince McMahon, like every big name that you know of from the 80s, from like that golden period, came from the AWA. Hogan, Ventura, Jesse, Jesse the Body Ventura. Like every big name you know from like every big name you know from like 80s WWE, or like the big names, came straight from AWA. Because Vince McMahon was poaching talent back then, boy, and he was poaching talent back then, and he would pay AWA stars not to show up. He'd be like, hey, I know you booked for this. I know you booked for this show right here, but I would just pay you to stay at home. I would pay you to stay at home, and I would pay you to stay at home, and I would just pay you to come work for me.
Wow.
Because he did that with Hogan. When he poached Hogan. Hogan had some dates or whatever. He had to work or whatever. And like Johnny, I guess like they got in contact with Hogan. They're like, "Hey man, you're not here for that." Hogan was like, "This paid me to stay home. Or this paid me more money to stay home than y'all paid me to work the show, so I stayed home."
Damn.
But yeah, so AWA went out because they couldn't evolve with the times. So Vince McMahon obviously I think they just swooped in and brought the tape library.
Spinaroonie.
K-Rob, yeah, Vern Gagne was stupid, boy. I tell you, Vern Gagne was stupid. Like Hulkamania did not start with WWE. Hulkamania started with Vern Gagne, and because Vern Gagne had this weird thing where he was like, I only want people with an amateur background in my title, despite the fact that Hogan was the most over star he had. He never put the title on Hogan. He did too many dusty finish. He did every time Hogan would win the title, they would do a dusty finish where it's like, oh, Hogan wins the title, but he doesn't really win the title. K-Rob, you were watching at the time. Was this his actual theme music, or did WWE just dub his own thing? Or did WWE just dub their theme music on there?
K-Rob, Booker T.
See, that's one thing I think WCW did well was the spring break shows where they would actually show them, where the spring break shows and the unique settings they have for it. I wish WWE and AEW would take a page from their book. Do more spring break shows where you actually do more spring break shows from on location.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was. He just won the match. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, WCW, they had some interesting locations for wrestling shows. That's one thing I like about them. They tried to be out the box with their locations. Like they held their shows once. Like they would run in Sturgis, South Dakota for the big motorcycle rally, and the whole arena would literally just be men on their, motorcycles, like watching the show. Now the crowd was dead because I don't think they knew what the fuck was going on, but it was a unique venue. I like stuff like that.
Victor Thomas, I agree with you, bro. In Big 2025, can Pete Dunne, thank you for spelling his name right, get a push, please?
Miz,
Please.
Miz is on television, but you didn't get Pete Dunne. That's crazy word.
Don't make me turn on Mike the Miz, Mike the Graps Mizanin. Don't make me do it, bro. I'm not even trying to glaze. Pete Dunne is legitimately one of the best guys that they have. I'm not even trying to glaze, bro. He's one of those guys. Like I put him in like Gunther, Ilya type categories, bro. Like he's literally the bruiserweight. I really love that style of wrestling.
They can't put him
But,
on one. There's Shane Moore. Is that Shannon Moore and Gregory Held? Wait a minute. Oh my God, this is crap. I forgot their name. But they had a boy band gimmick at this time. I think it's 3 count.
850, what's up, bro?
Yep, it's 3 count. That's Billy Kidman, I think, and I think that's Billy Kidman and Gregory Helms. I have never seen these other 2 dudes before.
Yeah, I don't.
But I think that's Billy Kidman and
Bro, I can't watch a maskless Rey Mysterio. That boy got horns on his head.
that is one of the dumbest things Eric Bischoff ever did.
That makes me sick, bro.
Bro, and what pisses me off is he was supposed to lose the match, like Halloween Havoc '97. Eddie, and he was supposed to lose the mask that night. Bischoff wanted. I don't know what was up with Bischoff wanting to unmask luchadors, but he was going to lose the mask that night. Like he was going to lose the mask that night. Like they had it. I think Ray's talked about this. Like the original finish was going to be Eddie going over, and moments, they're putting the match together. This on the third, and Eddie tells Ray straight up, "Hey, bro, and Ray clearly doesn't want to do it. And Eddie tells Ray straight up, "Hey, bro, we don't have to do this, bro. Ever, we don't have to go through this match, bro. We can walk out right now." Even Conan was like, "Yeah, bro, just go ahead and walk out." Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio is a professional, was like, Rey Mysterio, because Rey Mysterio is a professional, is like, nah. He's like, nah. He's like, nah, bro. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So let's go ahead and do it. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. So let's just. Rey Mysterio's like, that's what they want to do. Let's just go ahead and do it. And I think Eric Bischoff had a change of heart, and Bischoff was like, oh, okay, we don't have to. Bischoff was like, oh, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. And Bischoff was like, oh, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. So there you go.
He just delayed the inevitable then.
Yep, but then in 1999, they wrestled. I think he wrestles Kevin Nash, and this time he's forced to unmask, which is stupid. Thankfully, Vince McMahon had the common sense to tell Rey Mysterio, "Hey, man, bring that mask with you when you come."
So was Rey Mysterio a heel here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry for all the questions. Nice 450 though.
Why in the fuck would you turn Rey Mysterio heel?
Ooh. Oh, Bears, I'm sorry. I got you right now. We are at 2750. 2750. Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
That's a new one, to me at least. I mean, I don't know, bro. I don't know how you look at Rey Mysterio. Mask or no mask, I prefer mask every single time. But I don't know how you look at Rey Mysterio and see bad guy.
I don't know why they took their fucking mask off him to begin with.
That's a spit in the face to that entire culture, bro. I feel sick for them.
It is. Bischoff had no respect for the luchadors.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, K-Rob, that is true. Bischoff and Russo had no respect at all for the luchadors. They had no respect at all for the luchadors. No respect at all for them.
it's not PG. Bro, as I'm becoming more like familiar with what WCW was, I didn't realize how many of like WWE stars were in WCW first.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize. I mean, obviously they come from somewhere, but
Chavo Guerrero.
Malik, my boy, what's good, bro? Juvie Nitro were forced to unmasked. Cam, do you know who that is?
Juventud Guerrero.
Oh, Juventud. Oh.
Shane Howe.
Question. Excuse me. Say if Cena was not the face of the company from in 2005, who would y'all see being that top guy in 2005?
Batista. Would have been Batista.
Yeah.
With Randy Orton. But I think the one thing that would have held Batista back was that Batista did not want to do most of the shit John Cena was willing to do. I don't think Batista was willing to do the Make-A-Wish shit. And, like, I'm not saying Batista was, like, against doing Make-A-Wish and all that crap.
Mm.
I don't think Batista would have been willing to do the Make-A-Wish shit and all that crap, like how Cena was constantly doing it. Also, Batista was a lot more outspoken than John Cena. John Cena would fight. That's why John Cena was, like, the top. That's why John Cena was on top for so long, for, like, 10 years. Because, like, Cena, like, he would give Vince McMahon pushback at the end of the day over, like, a bad idea.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't, like, verbally fight him over it. Like, you know, like Vince would be like, Cena, we want you to do this. Cena would be like, I don't know about this. That's kind of – Cena would be like, I don't know about this. That might be bad, blah, blah, blah. Vince McMahon was like, Cena, we want you to do this. Cena wouldn't fight it. He'd be like, okay, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. I'll go out there and do it. There's a lot of top stars back then, or a lot of top stars that would fight Vince on ideas. Like, bro, I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that shit. And I think Batista would have been one of those names to tell Vince McMahon, bro, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
And Cena wasn't one of those guys. Cena was, again, not to say Cena didn't push back with Vince, but there's a lot of scenarios where Cena was just like,
yeah,
what you want to do, that's what we'll do. And you know, that's why he was on top for so long, because he never had any real pushback.
I want to get Granddaddy. He's gonna help you do something on his back.
Okay. Malik, I don't think Christian would have been the top guy at that point. I don't think Christian would have been the top guy. Vince McMahon did not like Christian. He did. Vince McMahon didn't like Christian. You didn't see Christian as a main event guy. Also, Christian, 2005, Vince McMahon wanted to put a blue dot over his face because he thought he was too ugly for television.
The fuck?
You ever heard that story?
Hell no.
You ever heard that story?
Hell no.
Vince McMahon wanted to put a blue dot. There was a storyline pitch for Christian where Vince McMahon, where in WWE, they will put a blue dot over Christian's face whenever he was on TV. Because
What?
Christian was too ugly for television.
Bro, this guy had the balls to put Mabel on TV, but he draws a line at Christian.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that. That's insane. No disrespect to Mabel, rest in peace, but holy shit.
Yeah, he was not a fan of Christian. So when he straight up told Christian, I don't see you as a main event guy. And that was the point where Christian was like, okay, I gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Ahmed, I know, bro. There's a lot. Like I said, the other day, there's a lot that I do know, but there's a lot that I don't know.
So if you ever wonder why Christian left WWE for TNA in 2005, that's why. That's why. Because Christian and Vince McMahon, I think they had like a face-to-face meeting or whatever. And I think they had like a face-to-face meeting or whatever. And in that meeting, Vince McMahon straight up told Christian, I don't see you as a main event guy. He was like, I don't see you as a main event guy. That was the point where Christian was like, okay, I got to get the fuck up out of here.
Hey, Rob, you're right, bro. You're right. Excuse my voice. That shit deserves a sign.
Malik, I don't think Edge would have went to Christian with TNA in 2005 because he didn't. But Edge just spoke about there was a period in like 2008 where he was considering going to TNA because of the travel, because it was less travel, but he ultimately decided against it. But yeah. Shane Helms went for the vertebreaker. Chavo Guerrero able to counter. Nope. Vertebreaker! Oh!
Nice.
You cannot pay me to take a vertebreaker, man. Yeah, you cannot pay me enough money. Oh, Team Canada against Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo.
Damn, bro. WCW was no better, bro, when in terms of matches ending and going right into the next segment.
Oh, yeah, they did. Or you think Tony Khan got it? I know Tony Khan was a massive WCW fan. I know he was a massive WCW and ECW fan. I think that much is obvious.
Right.
Lance Storm. And is that Mike Awesome? Oh, my God. WCW, y'all fucked up Mike Awesome so bad, man. Rest in peace, Mike Awesome. Rest in peace, Mike Awesome. Rest in peace. Y'all fucked up Lance. Y'all fucked up Mike Awesome so fucking bad. Oh, my God. Chris, if I show you some Mike Awesome from ECW, and show you some Mike Awesome from WCW, you're going to look at me and you're going to ask yourself, how did WCW fuck him up?
Hell no.
Because Mike Awesome was a killer. All right, guys, let's rise to the Canadian national anthem. Here we go. Let's all rise. Oh, Mike Awesome was so fucking good. Mike Awesome was 6'7", nearly 300 pounds. That man did things in that ring a man his size should not have been able to do, man. I'm telling you, Chris, if I show you Mike Awesome in ECW and I show you Mike Awesome in WCW, you're going to ask, how did WCW fuck him up? But they fucked him up.
That is pitiful. Talking to Michael Cole like that, bro.
But the fat chick thriller, oh my god. Man, they turned him into a man obsessed with fat chicks. Oh my god.
What?
His entire character. Vince Russo turned this man into a man who was obsessed with fat chicks. That was his entire gimmick.
Bro, I thought I heard it all with WCW, bro.
Again, Russo. I know Russo was a shitty booker, but he, believe it or not, he had some good qualities about him. He was not the smartest man to execute those qualities.
No.
But he had some good qualities about him. One of the things I like about Vince Russo was when Russo came into WCW in '99, actively tried to push the guys that were hogging the main event scene, guys like Hogan, guys like Hogan, Nash, and those guys. He actively tried to push those guys down the card to feature some of the younger talents. I respect that because that's what Vince. I respect that. He tried to get some of the younger talents to showcase, and some of the talents that were being underutilized. He tried to make them players, but the way that he went about certain shit, no. Malik, Samoa Joe is a very weird one to me. Samoa Joe is a very weird one to me. You can make an argument that WWE dropped the ball with Samoa Joe, but I look at what Joe did when he was with WWE and the fact that he main evented multiple pay-per-views, was constantly wrestling for the world title, and feuded with a lot of the big names there. I don't know how anybody can look at that and go, he had a bad run. I personally, I don't know. So I don't think he was underutilized like a lot of people say. I think him winning the world title was. I do think him not winning the world title was a mistake. But I also don't think Vince McMahon wanted to put a championship on a guy that I don't think he thought could stay healthy. So that's probably why. But yeah, again, I can't call Samoa Joe's run a bad run in WWE when Joe made it at multiple pay-per-views and feuded with a lot of the top guys there. It was constantly wrestling. It was constantly in the WWE / Universal Championship picture. I don't know how that could be seen as anything. I don't know how that could be seen as a bad run. So,
Facts. King Jones, my brother, how you doing, bro?
what's up, King Jones? How are you doing? Sean O'Hare. Rest in peace, Sean O'Hare.
This is cool though. This is my first time watching a full WCW show.
Rest in peace, Sean O'Hare. Rest in peace, Lance Storm. Or not Lance Storm. Rest in peace, Mike Awesome. Yeah, 85. Yeah, 850 big boy. I agree. He had some ideas. He had the right ideas for. Like again, I like the fact that when he got there, he tried. He tried his best as much as he could. He tried to push Hogan down the card and Nash down the card, and it was a thing where like, and it was a thing where like, yeah, okay, we see your value because you're a big name, but at the same time, we're not gonna have you hogging up the main event scene. We're not going to have you hogging up the main event scene. So I like the fact that he tried to get more young guys in there. I really do like that about him. But but a lot of the shit that he did, man, absolutely no fucking sense at all. Bam Bam Bigelow! Rest in peace, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Facts, rest in peace. Only person on this show who still wrestles full time is Rey Mysterio. That's kind of crazy to think about, yo. I mean, because this is like what 24 years ago.
Yep.
Shout out Rey Mysterio, man. What is your NXT Black and Gold dream match? I don't believe we ever got Walter and Adam Cole straight up in WWE, so I'd say that.
That was like fun. Stacy Keibler!
Jeez. Yeah, you're stupid, bro. You're stupid.
Hold on, wait a minute. Damn it!
Miguel, yeah, you're right, bro. I gotta get in my bag. It's just about making time for it.
The man that rocks my world, the mecca of manhood, Sean the Star Stasiak.
Stacy Keibler. Oh my God, look at Stacy Keibler. Get me off the screen. I don't want to see me. Get me off I'm not. Don't sign me, by the way. That was his actual name.
No, you're right.
I'm sorry, man. I don't want to see meat on the screen. I want to see. Go back to Stacy Keibler. Check. Put the camera back on Stacy Keibler.
Shut up. Listen and learn.
Bam Bam Bigelow. I'll never forget what Bam Bam Bigelow said. Bam Bam Bigelow said he was the highest. Bam Bam Bigelow said, "I'm the highest paid job guy in the world."
Damn.
Stop barking. Hey, what are you barking at? Stop there.
Are y'all gonna do another retro WrestleMania watch along stream anytime soon? I think that's the plan to get one more in before Mania. We haven't decided on one. I think after watching 9, we were gonna do a better one. Mo threw out 17, I threw out 19. We're just waiting for Lewis and Cam suggestions, and then we'll let you guys vote.
I'd love to do 19.
All right, so we got 2 for 19, 1 for 17, and we're just waiting for Lewis.
God, look at Stacy. Oh my God. Shout out to Stacy Keibler, man. WWE Hall of Famer Stacy Keibler.
Oh yeah.
Stacy Keibler.
I think I'm getting someone else onto the other train. Who you got in the Avatar, Michael Davis? Who you got on the Avatar train? Damn.
Y'all didn't know Stacy Keibler used to date George Clooney.
I think I heard that. Yeah, I think I heard that one.
Brandon, I like WWE adding matches to the Hall of Fame. I do. So that's that. I like them adding matches to the Hall of Fame.
I think that's our next pod topic.
What matches go into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Okay. Damn, that is sad that they. Damn, that is sad that it is sad that venue got destroyed. Because yeah, I'm sure AEW would love to do some shows on there.
Yeah, bro.
Ask you, you employed Chris Jericho. You did a show on the Dynamite. You did a show on the Jericho Cruise once and never again. Why? Why haven't you ran another show on the Jericho Cruise?
But
You gonna keep him employed? At least use him.
DDP is great, bro.
He is.
I think someone told me he got a late start though.
Yeah, DDP started when he was like 35. Like,
Damn.
Not just thank the fans in general. I want to especially thank the WCW wrestling fans.
The Last Airbender movie coming out in January 2026. Word, I know where I'm gonna be.
Helping me with my dream. That dream over? I don't think so. I think now it's time to take it to another level. Bang.
D. How did WWE fuck up DDP?
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
It's a shame what happened to that WCW title because that shit used to be prestigious as hell before. That shit used to be prestigious as hell before people just started abusing of that fucking thing. They gave that fucking championship to anybody. Any fucking body. It's a shame too, because that title used to have some reverence. That title used to have some respect. All the greats held that fucking title. Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Harley Race, Vader, Sting. Shit used to have some reverence. That shit used to have some respect. And then by 2001, they just passed it to any fucking body. That title used to have some fucking reverence and some respect behind it, man. Damn. Steamboat held that title. Steamboat held that title. Flair held that title. Dusty held that title. Harley Race held that title. That shit used to have some reverence, some respect, some class, some dignity behind that motherfucker. That shit used to, and then they just fucked it up. That shit used to have some reverence, some respect, some class. You wouldn't just let anybody hold on to that fucking title. You had to be the elite of the elite. Granted, they did get some fucking, not some elite people in there. They did have some people sneak in there. I'm looking at you. They did have some people sneak in there. I forgot his name, but they did have some people sneak in there that shouldn't have been champion, like every promotion does. They did. But for the most part, that title had fucking reverence, fucking respect, fucking class. And then they just fucked it all up. Fucked it all up.
Cam, who the fuck is Primetime?
I have no idea. Victor Thomas, that's where that Victor Thomas wore the way they fucked up that WCW title. It went from Jeff Jarrett got it. Oh, okay. Well, that's Elix Skipper. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Jarrett got it, which Jarrett getting it. Okay, fine. Jeff Jarrett got it. Vince Russo fucking got it. David Arquette fucking got it. And to be fair to David Arquette, that was some shit he did not want to do. Because David Arquette was a wrestling fan who had common fucking sense. David Arquette knew him winning the WCW title would be bad. But he got talked into it. So he was like, well, okay. But he got talked into it. So he was like, okay. He was like, okay, I'll win the title. And to be fair to David Arquette, I will give him credit. Every paycheck that man got from WCW as the WCW champion, he gave it all to the Owen Hart Foundation. So I will give David Arquette credit. David Arquette.
I appreciate y'all chat and Cam bearing with me. I'm a complete WCW casual, so you guys been helping me out. Piece all the puzzles together.
All right, well, I probably told you this before, but I'll tell you again. If you want to know more about WCW in like a quick time frame, just look up Solid Watster talking about WCW.
Okay.
King Jones, Vince Russo booked himself to win the WCW title. Oh my god! And the way that motherfucker won the title. Goldberg spears Vince Russo through the cage, and Vince Russo is the WCW.
Oh my god!
The fact that somebody saw Vince Russo was rated with WCW in the 90s, in the late 90s, and somebody actively decided to give him another job is fucking insane. It is fucking criminal. The fact that somebody saw that and they actively decided, yeah, let's give this man a job. Let's have this man write for our fucking wrestling show. It's fucking ridiculous. Ain't no fucking way.
That's awful.
Marky Davis, I'm glad I was still in the nutsack, man. I'm glad I was still in my mama's belly by then, boy. Cause I don't know what the fuck I tell you. I don't know what the fuck I would have done, boy. My son.
TNA losing their Spike deal because of Russo is hilarious. Yeah, Cam taught me about that shit.
Oh, because Vince Russo don't know how to send a fucking email.
Right.
This nigga don't know how to send a fucking email.
So instead of he was supposed to send it to Mike Tenay, but he sent it to Mike Johnson.
Yep.
Oh my god, bro.
Supposed to send some creative plans to Mike today because Russo was ready to show at the time that Mike today commentary. But the way commentary worked back then was I don't think the commentators were actually at the show.
Yeah.
I think they just take the shows and then Russo. And I think they just take the shows and then Taz and Today would go to whatever studio they went to and they would add in their own commentary there. Well, because TNA they still do this, but they tape TNA they still do this, but like they tape like 3 months of television in like one night. Like they tape 3 months of television in like 1 or 2 nights. So commentary is rarely, if ever, there live at the show. So what they would do is, commentary is rarely, if ever, live there at the show. So what they would do is they would have Today and Taz, who were still doing commentary at the time. And at this point, Today and Taz, I don't think gave 2 fucks about what the fuck was going on with TNA. But they would tell Taz and Today but Taz and Today would go to whatever fucking studio they would go to. The Kill Switch, the Prettier, and they would
nice.
And they would go to whatever fucking studio they would go to. They would splice in commentary. Well, Vince Russo was sending some commentary. Notes to fucking Mike today, but he sent it to Mike Johnson by mistake. I guess the wrong Mike popped up in his fucking auto box. And he sent the shit. and Mike Johnson was like, and Mike Johnson, I don't know, Stig. Let's see what Stig talking about here.
We started it years ago, Rick, and tonight we're naming something for us. For all you fans out there who are wondering what the future holds for Sting, well, the only thing for sure about Sting
Excuse me.
is nothing's for sure. It's showtime, folks!
Sting. I love Sting. Greatest star WCW's ever produced, by the way, Sting. But trying to think. Greatest star WCW history, Sting. But trying to think. All right, because Vince Russo don't know how to send a fucking email. He sent it to Mike today. He sent it to Mike Johnson. He sent it to Mike today. And Mike Johnson was trying to work with TNA at first. He was trying to work with him. He was trying to work with him. He was like, is this true? He was like, is this true what I'm being sitting here? Is this true? Is this true? And Dixie Carter wouldn't fucking respond to him. You know, and Dixie Carter wouldn't fucking respond to him. And I guess out of spite, Mike Johnson checked with whatever source he needed to check with. And once he got confirmation, he said, yeah, go ahead and publish that story. He said, go ahead and publish it. Go ahead and publish that fucking story. And Spike was going to work with TNA too. Spike was telling TNA, all right, bro, so, you know, y'all obviously got to get the fuck off our network. But what we'll let y'all do is we'll allow y'all to continue to run shows on our network until you find another network. Until you find another television network, we'll allow you to continue to run shows on here. Okay, cool. But Dixie Carter, in a fucking email, called the fucking people at Spike TV fucking idiots. And Spike TV was like, oh, okay, yeah, end of the year, you niggas are gone. That's how y'all want to play it? You niggas are gone. Bye. Ric Flair. Matt Thunder said earlier that Matt Thunder said earlier that Rey Mysterio is the only one still wrestling on a weekly basis consistently from the show. You know, Ric Flair would be too if he. You know, Ric Flair would be too if he ain't had fucking heart problems.
Yeah, fact. That man's trying to have another match, or at least he was.
His final match was so sad. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. Ric Flair and Andrade against Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. One of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Oh, God, bro. I didn't even watch the full thing.
One of the saddest things I've ever seen. Ric Flair's on a pacemaker. He's trying to.
I would be deathly afraid of watching it. And like in real time. Like if he were to have another match, I'd be afraid.
Bro, you know what was funny about that? When Ric Flair was putting his final match together, they went to Ricky Steamboat and was like, and they're like, Steamboat, do you mind stepping back into the ring with Flair? And Steamboat was like, no, I'm good. And Steamboat was like, nah, I'm good. Steamboat was like, I don't think Flair should be. Steamboat was like, nah, I'm good. And like Steamboat told Ric Flair, and like the nicest possible warrior, he was like, I would do it, Rick, but I'm not coming back to wrestle. And then, like, a couple months later, Steamboat has his last ever match. And then a couple months later, they do Steamboat's last ever match, and they do Steamboat and FTR against, and they do Steamboat and FTR against, I forgot who, but they do Steamboat and FTR, and Steamboat moved a lot better than Ric Flair did. Steamboat legit looked like that nigga never missed a step at all, because I was there live. It was Steamboat and FTR against, I forgot who. But I know the Briscoes were on that show because that's the photo I showed, because that's where I got the photo of me and Mark Briscoe. So me and Briscoes. So I know the Briscoes were on that fucking show. I forgot who Sting was. I forgot who FTR and Steamboat wrestled, but Steamboat looked like that nigga did not miss a step at all.
Oh shit. That's Charles Robinson.
Yeah. No Nate.
I'm a casual, bro. I'm sorry.
Matt Thunder, I remember Ricky Steamboat's short run in 2009. Him and Chris Jericho had a fucking fantastic match at Backlash that year. Oh my God. Boy, that Steamboat Jericho match was so fucking good, boy. I was a dream come true for Jericho because Jericho got into the business because of Steamboat. Jericho loves him some Ricky Steamboat, boy. K-Rob, you remember Ric Flair? K-Rob, you remember WCW admitted Ric Flair to that insane asylum? They sent Ric Flair to a mental institution as storyline. And him and they sent him to a mental institution as storyline. And the skits they did at Ric Flair, the mental institution, was, I think, was the most entertaining thing about their television show. Ric Flair can make anything fucking work, boy. That's how good Ric Flair was. That nigga can make anything work, boy. Ric Flair back then, boy, that nigga can make anything work. That nigga can make anything work, and that nigga can get any. That nigga, well, Ric Flair could have wrestled me in 1980. Ric Flair could have wrestled me in 1983 and brought me to a 5-star match. I'm telling y'all right now, boy. That nigga Ric Flair was. He was so good. He was so fucking good. Oh my God, Ric Flair was so fucking good. Ric Flair at his peak was so fucking good. That man could do it all. That man could legit do it all. That man could talk. That man could talk. Had fucking charisma for days. Fucking aura. Ric Flair get on that microphone. I don't know what the fuck he was saying, but it made sense to Ric Flair, and it made sense to me.
Right.
Well, that nigga Ric Flair. Whoa! Let me tell you. Whoa! Let me tell you something. Oh yeah, we're gonna go take a ride on. Oh yeah, we're gonna take a ride on Space Mountain. We're gonna take a ride on Space Mountain. Let me tell you, the jet stealing will. What Ric Flair? That nigga, he could promo. That nigga Ric Flair could talk. That nigga Ric Flair had the best. That nigga Ric Flair could promo. That nigga could talk. Ric Flair, and then in the ring, that nigga could carry a broomstick to a 5-star match. Boy, I'm telling you, boy.
Damn.
That is how good Ric Flair was at his peak. Oh, yeah, K-Rob, I can believe it. Ric Flair was so fucking good. Oh my God, man, he was so fucking good. Y'all, when people say Ric Flair's the greatest wrestler of all time, there's a reason why people call Ric Flair the greatest professional wrestler of all time. And I would be inclined to agree with him. Ric Flair was the fucking. If you have only seen WWE Ric Flair, yep.
Well, he had a lot of shit in NWA too, right?
Yes, boy. Boy, there's a reason why people call him the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Watch the Ric Flair, boy. Watch the Ric Flair, boy.
I was at my coworker's house, who's also into pro wrestling, a couple months ago, and he turned on Flair and Steamboat. I couldn't tell you the match, but it was from the 80s.
Oh my God.
And he told me, I couldn't tell you the number, but they wrestled in an ungodly amount of times against one another.
Yes. Oh my God. One of the greatest trilogies of matches you will ever see is Flair Steamboat 1989. That is one of the greatest trilogy of matches you will ever see. That is one of the greatest trilogies you will ever see. But Ric Flair was so fucking good. He was so fucking good. Chris, Kayla did something in the Discord. You got to watch it when we get up out of here.
Where?
Oh yeah, you got to watch it when we get up out of here, boy. This Ric Flair promo.
There was a story he told about cutting a promo on NWA in the mid '80s about the Horsemen partying at a specific hotel, and it was a total shoot.
Yep.
Damn. That's it.
And Ric Flair taps out. That was the main event. That last ever Sting Flair match felt it was incredibly short. It really got some out of that. But very fitting that the last ever episode of WCW Nitro features Flair and Sting in the main event. That is very, very fitting. The greatest rivalry in that company's history. And the amount of times Sting was made to look like a complete idiot because Ric Flair turned on him was fucking funny as hell. But that nigga turned on Sting like every 2 weeks. Well, it was fucking insane.
Oh shit. Is this how we get Shane on the big screen?
I believe so.
Oh shit.
I remember when Tony Khan brought Ring of Honor. Tony Khan was painting that shit. Oh my god. The contract does read. He's like the contract doesn't read McMahon. I was like, Tony Khan, boy. I was like, nigga, if you don't get your work ass the fuck up out of here, bro.
He said there is no Shane.
Obviously, you all know I have acquired WCW. That's right, I bought my competition. It's not exactly final. Well, it is and it isn't. You see, the only thing is, Time Warner can't sell this property to anybody else because nobody really knows what to do with it. So therefore, this is what's going to happen. Time Warner is practically begging me. They're practically begging me to buy WCW, and I have agreed. There's only one small caveat they're hearing for the first stars and things of that nature. But quite frankly, the truth is, I did it all on my own. It was my effort. It was my money. And it's like, okay, Vince, how can you possibly beat a billionaire? Well,
Yeah.
there's one answer to that, and that's become one yourself.
I forgot the XFL was a thing at this point, right?
The XFL. Is the XFL still a thing?
I think so, but I think The Rock runs it. I could be wrong on that completely, but that's what I thought I heard.
And this is the XFL. Oh, this man trying to run a story, or this man trying to run a storyline between Jesse Ventura and one of the coaches for the XFL. But the coach kept telling Vince McMahon to fuck off. I'm not doing that shit. The coach is like, bro, you trying to run some storyline, bro? I'm trying to win football games. Leave me alone.
Trish will wheel down in the wheelchair. Trish will wheel my very own wife, Linda.
Oh, okay.
We're going to park Linda right over here in this room. Linda's going to watch what I do to Shane McMahon this Sunday at WrestleMania.
Oh my God.
That's a thing, man.
Linda McMahon was in a comatose state.
Yeah, bro.
Well, there are a lot of things I could do with it. I might not have to admit. I mean, I could take WCW.
K-Rob, for all the shit I give WCW, them going out of business is the worst thing that ever happened to wrestling. That is the worst thing that ever happened to the wrestling business. Is WCW going out of business because it left WWE as the only company, as the only legitimate mainstream company in charge. TNA was never competition. Ring of Honor was never competition to WWE. It basically left a monopoly in American pro wrestling. We saw how that ended up.
And you can see, I'm not exactly laughing, but I've got a real big smile on my face. Then again, if we don't take WCW and put it on the shelf, we can do something else with it. We can take WCW and perhaps turn it into this huge media conglomerate like the World Wrestling Federation are taking us today. We know how to do that. But if we do that, I'm wondering, well, who should be a part of this WCW? Maybe you can help me out here. When I give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I want you to react. Maybe you can help me out a little bit. Assuming we want to acquire some of those stars. Let's start with Hulk Hogan, huh? Hogan down. All right. Let's go to Lex Luger up. Lex Luger down. How about Buff Bagwell up?
Crowd loves some Buff Bagwell.
Listen, I love Buff Bagwell. I do. I'm glad Buff Bagwell's doing a lot better than what he's been doing. Buff Bagwell, I love him, man. I do.
So Sting never been in WWE until like 2014, 2015. That was more of a Sting not wanting to be there type thing.
It was more of a Sting. Sting was scared. Well, I don't. Sting was. Sting was terrified. Sting was terrified that WWE would not use him right with like his character and everything. And like Sting sits there and says, like the thing that ultimately made him decide not to come in was like, the thing that ultimately like made him decide not to come in was he's watching Raw one night. It was like he's watching Raw one night, and him and the Rock and Booker T are having a promo battle, and the Rock refers to Booker T as just another guy. And Sting took that as so disrespectful, considering what Booker T had already accomplished at that point.
Yeah.
Sting took that as completely disrespectful, and Sting was like, well, if that's how they're referring to Booker T, well, what are they going to refer to me as? And that's why Sting was like, no, I'm not coming in. Like Sting, he didn't trust WWE. So that's why he went to TNA. And that's why he just stayed there.
Walking in the ring, lining each and every one of those stars up, every single one of them, so I can look right in their face and say, Goldberg, Booker T, and all the rest of them. I look at them and say,
Vince was such a prick, bro.
How do he legitimately fire Jeff Jarrett on there? How do he legitimately fire Jeff Jarrett on there? Legitimately, he said Jeff Jarrett. He's J-E. He said JEFFJARRETT is GONNE. How do he legitimately fire Jeff Jarrett on there? And how do he legit? That's how TNA got started. That's how TNA got fired.
Oh, wow.
That's how TNA got fired. Vince McMahon legit. Because if you don't know the story, 1999. Because if you don't know the story, 1999, Jeff Jarrett is the Intercontinental Champion. He's scheduled to drop the title to China, I think, at No Mercy. Well, Jeff Jarrett basically held Vince McMahon up for money. He basically held Vince McMahon up for money. He was like, Vince. He was like, look at Vince, unless you pay me. He's like, look at Vince, unless you pay me, I'm not gonna drop the title. I'm just leave. So Vince McMahon had to pay Jeff Jarrett, but fuck Jeff Jarrett wanted. Jarrett did the job to China. And Jarrett did the job to China for the IC title in that housekeeping match, whatever the fuck it was called. Whatever the fuck it was called. Jeff Jarrett did the job to China, and Jeff Jarrett left WWE for WCW. And then when Vince McMahon purchased WCW, he legitimately fired Jeff Jarrett on there. He's like, Jeff Jarrett is JEFF. He's like JEFF JARRETT is GONNE. You will never. That's how TNA got started. Jeff Jarrett was like, wow. I ain't gonna. Wow,
That's crazy.
back. So TNA. Here it is. Here comes the moment right here with Shane McMahon. Here it comes. Don't worry about that, Vicious V. You're late, Vicious V.
What's up, V?
Vicious V. We about to be up out of here. So.
Yeah, Chad, we appreciate y'all chilling with us. A little quick stream on a Saturday evening. Damn, we didn't even call him Dad.
what's up, Vince? Surprise, Dad. You're in Cleveland, Ohio. And I'm here in Panama City Beach, Florida. Standing in the WCW ring. looks got the best of you. I mean that you wanted to finalize this deal. WCW at WrestleMania. You have the audacity to ask Ted Turner himself to come down and finalize that deal. Well, that's just the opportunity that I was looking for.
Ted Turner was not a wrestling fan at all. Oh my god. Ted Turner, I tell you how nigga owned the wrestling company, but wasn't a fan of it at all. He just had a soft spot for it because wrestling saved the Superstation. That was just like, that nigga was not a fan of wrestling. He just told Bischoff. He just told Bischoff, here, take the checkbook. Here, take the checkbook. How much you take the checkbook? The contract does read McMahon.
Just like WCW did in the past, how it kicked your ass in the past, and it will again. That's exactly what's going to happen to you this Sunday at WrestleMania.
There you guys go. Those are the last ever WCW Nitro. Now, quick little tidbit here for those of you that don't know. Not originally supposed to be the last WCW Nitro. Even though Vince McMahon brought WCW, what Vince McMahon had planned on doing was he planned on keeping WCW alive as his own separate promotion.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon and WWE originally planned on doing was he obviously brought WCW. He was going to continue to run Nitro. He was going to allow Nitro to continue to run. He was just going to put Nitro on USA. He was going to allow Nitro to continue to run. He was going to turn Raw basically into Monday Nitro. And, you know, and the WWE guys wouldn't appear on Nitro. It would be all the old WCW guys. And SmackDown would become the new home for WWE. That was the original plan. Vince McMahon was down.
Oh.
And, like, they were even calling – Vince McMahon and WWE were even calling venues up to try to book more dates for Nitro. That was the original plan. However, one match changed all of that because they did a trial run. Because WWE, they did a trial run, and one match changed all that. They did Booker T and Buff Bagwell in the main event on Monday Night Raw for the WCW title, and they turned that into Nitro. They had the Nitro. I think they had Arn Anderson out there doing commentary, and I think they had some other WCW guys out there doing commentary. And they turned it into Nitro. They had like the stage and everything looked like Nitro. A ring, you know, the ring and everything said Monday Nitro on it. And they did Buff Bagwell and Booker T WCW title in Seattle. The Seattle crowd shit on that match so much. To be fair, that match was fucking terrible. To be fair, that was a fucking terrible match. But the crowd shit on that match so fucking much. This McMahon was like, wow. This McMahon was like, wow, we're not doing that no more. He's like,
God damn.
Well, we're not doing that no more. Never mind. We ain't doing that no more. So yeah, there you go. For those of you that don't know, WCW, Vince McMahon, when he brought WCW, he was gonna originally run WCW as like his own separate promotion. It would just be Vince McMahon was in charge of two companies. But because Buff Bagwell and Booker T was so fucking bad, Vince McMahon we ain't doing that shit no more. So we ain't doing that shit no more. So there you go. If you didn't know about that, now you know. But yeah, that was the last ever Monday Nitro. So there you go.
That was a pretty interesting watch, bro. Like I said before, I've never seen a full WCW show start to finish. I know I've been slacking on that. That's my fault. But this is a pretty enjoyable watch. Knowing that it's the last show of all time, it's kind of crazy, bro. Because all this shit happened before you and I were even born.
Yeah.
God damn.
This shit is crazy. 4 months later. It's happening in March, so April, May, June, July. 4 months later, I was born. 4 months later, I was born.
Damn.
So there you go. But yeah, that's the last ever WCW Nitro, first ever WCW watch along we did on the channel. I do not want this to be the last WCW watch along we do on the channel. For as much shit, I've not said this before, and I'll say it again. For as much shit as I give WCW and as much as I make fun of them, they genuinely do. I think have some of they're the second most successful wrestling promotion of all time. You don't get like that by it being all bad. You really don't. So even though the bad with WCW was really bad, they also had a lot of shit that was really, really good. And I hope this isn't the last time we're able to do a WCW watch along.
Definitely not the last time, but I promise.
Because I would love to come on here and watch some more WCW shows, whether there's old Nitros or old pay-per-views.
Hell yeah.
Watch some. I really love to come on here and watch some more shows. And if you guys are interested, tell you guys some stories. Because for those of you guys that asked me, because for those of you guys that are wondering how the fuck this Cam knows so much about this shit, or why does he go off on random tangents and tell stories? I'm a historian in real life. I have a degree in history. I have a degree in history. I work for a history museum where my job is to research shit. Where my job is to research shit. Or my job is to research shit this and the third. I do that for a living. So I'm a historian. I have a degree in history. So obviously, me being a massive wrestling fan, I have an interest in wrestling history. That's how I'm able to tell you guys all these stories That's how I'm able to tell you guys all these stories this and the third. And I love when we go back and we talk about the worst booking decisions or like the worst shows of all time this and the third, because I like being able to go into my history bag and tell you guys some of these stories I don't think you guys have ever heard. Personally, it's just something I enjoy doing. I have a history degree. So
yeah.
Again, I have a history degree, so I'm a giant nerd. So
I love learning.
So I like to go back and I like to watch and I like to learn the history behind these certain promotions, certain angles, this and the third. So that's why I enjoy doing it, but I would love to do more WCW watch-alongs if you guys are interested. And not just WCW watch-alongs. Shit, I'd love to do more fucking old retro 80s watch-alongs. You get me? Old more retro 80s watch-alongs. Shit. WCW watch-alongs. I'd love to do some NWA watch-alongs. Shit. I'd love to do some NWA watch-alongs. I'd love to do some old historical watch-along shit from like the 80s and everything that's on the third. That's personally what I enjoy. So anytime I get to come on here and share my love of that with you guys on the channel, for the amount of people that come on here, I really enjoy doing that. So thank you guys. But yeah, last ever episode of WCW Monday Nitro. Overall, a very enjoyable watch, knowing it was the last one. And yeah, be back with some more WCW watch along. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all we got for y'all boys, man. Appreciate y'all chilling with us for a little bit on your Saturday evenings. We will see you guys next, or at least I will, for Monday Night Raw. I know they're doing that preempted shit again. But it's looking like 6 p.m. Eastern time here again. And it should be the last time, because I think we're back in the States on Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we're right.
So 6 p.m. Eastern time Monday. Be there. You already know, bro. But is that all you got, bro?
That is all I got. Matt Thunder, I like the way you think, Matt Thunder. I like the way you think with doubling. I like the way you think, Matt Thunder. I'd love to do a retro Double or Nothing 2019 watch along. And the great thing about that's on HBO Max. So that's on HBO.
I forgot about that.
So I'd love to sit there. So I'd love to do a retro Double or Nothing watch along. I would.
Hell yeah.
I'd love to rewatch the first ever Double or Nothing. But that's it for me.
All right, chat. Until Monday, bro. We love you. Please be safe while you're at it. Bring back bullying.
And bring back bullying, folks. We'll see you guys on Monday.